All right, Dr. Mori, Uncivilized Vitality, and we're going to talk about the Moreygami, which is just a play on my name, because I always have one of these, Mori plus origami, which is that Japanese art of paper folding, and you get a Moreygami, right? Which is funny. So it's just a bit of cloth I always have with me, and we recommend Uncivilized Vitality because the first of the families is clothing or cloth tools, and we always have our silk with us, the turtles, gray and green. So we always have a silk bandana. You can use that as a neckerchief, all kinds of different uses. I keep a silk in my pocket at all times. But I want to talk today, this video, about a special type of cloth. So there's a few you should probably take with you when you go camping. This is just a shemagh or like a large bandana, right? You can get these, for less than $5. They're super cheap. They're cotton. You can use this for all sorts of things. You can use this in place of your silk as a neckerchief. If it's cold out, you can do head wraps, lots of things. You can make bags and stuff out of it. I got lots of videos on that. So it's always good to have one of those with you camping. And then sometimes you need a slightly larger size that you could use for maybe some clothing. I fall through the lake, I gotta dry my pants out. I can take my Turkish towel, which is much larger, more of a rectangle. If I fold it in half, kind of neat, I could get a large square, which is about the size of my shemagh. So I could fold that into a triangle, and then I've got the same thing as my shemagh. I wrap it up. Now I've got a neckerchief, or I can use it in head wraps, or I can make a bag out of it. But it has the added benefit of being slightly larger, my Turkish towel. So I can use this as some makeshift clothing, like maybe while I change or whatever. One time, Logan and Patrick, Mark, and I tried to use our shemaghs as makeshift clothing because we had been in the water and got our clothes all wet. And it turns out when you, let me go by the table, when you tie this around, this is not public friendly. It leaves everything out. So I started taking the shemagh less. I always have my silk. I started moving up to the Turkish towel. And this is great, right? Turkish towel. I can use this as a improvised clothing. It's cotton. I can use this as a wrap, right? A small shawl. So I always have a Turkish towel tucked in. I've moved up from the shemagh. Another important piece of cloth to have with you, because a Turkish towel can serve two purposes, a little better than a shemagh, is a poncho. So I've just got a USGI poncho, just rubber banded up in this small package. It's smaller than about the size of a water bottle. I always throw that in my pack. I can use this as improvised clothing, improvised shelter. I can use this as a ground cloth. So now we're moving up to several other functions. So a Turkish towel and a poncho are always with me. And then another thing you'll see with us on Uncivilized Vitality is not necessarily the material or the size, although this piece of cloth is not quite as wide as a Turkish towel, but it is a large square. But this one has been sewn, and if we can zoom in here with the camera a little bit, I'll show you. Here we go. So we can come in a little bit. What we did with this one, I don't know if that's going to help with the pattern, but you see this seam. So basically we've taken an extra long or large Turkish towel, I've folded it in half, and then I have the seam running down to make this hoop. That hoop. Now you can do lots of things with this, depending on this one's made out of a scrap of an old great kilt I had that had gotten worn or had some holes in it. So I took it to the seamstress, the tailor, and had it cut down and had a few of these made out of my old great kilt, which is about 5 feet by 15 or 16 feet. Maybe even bigger. It's a huge thing. I used to use my great kilt. I'd wear that, or I would use it for a blanket at night, or sometimes for a shelter. Oh, you know who has on YouTube? You know, I don't know if I did this right. Fan Dabby Dozy. Find that channel on YouTube. I'll put that link in the description. This guy has got a series on great kilts that's phenomenal. All the different uses and things. Well, anyway, I cut this down, and this has, if I had one made out of cotton instead of the wool, this would be a great replacement for a Turkish towel, because I've got the toweling capabilities. I can fold that into the triangle shape to once again use as a shawl, right? Or roll it up and use that as a scarf. It's quite warm, and I can just keep it hanging here. It has the added benefit of being already sewn into a hoop. I can use this as a clothing option, right? By just stepping through that hoop, and then use it as a lava or a sarong, or different types of clothing that's popular in the tropical climate. So I just fold that up. Now I've got almost a makeshift kilt. I can change my bathing suit under that. I can wear it around while I dry my pants off. If it gets a little cold at night, I can just get inside this hoop and then get in my sleeping bag, and now I've got a layer around me of a blanket that won't fall off of me while I'm in the bag. I also take this when I travel, so when I'm on the plane, if I get a little chilly, instead of dealing with that blanket that I have to tuck in everywhere, I can just pull this up, fold in. Probably covered the microphone. So I got a little blanket that won't fall off me when I sleep. And my hands are free to do things when it's time to go off the plane. Instead of trying to fold the blanket, I'll just tuck it up on my shoulder and just keep it tucked up there until we get off the plane. And you've seen maybe before, I've done some of the other videos on this, where you can pull this Uncivilized hoop out, and I can put things in there, grab the top, and just twist. And now I can do all this with the Turkish towel, but this eliminates that step of having to tie the corners together. And once I've twisted this down, now I've made a little bag, a little sash. I can still open that up, get some of my travel items out of there, right? My water bottle. And I've got a handy little bag that I can carry things around. So this makes an improvised haversack or day sack while we're going out. So in the Uncivilized Vitality program, when we're out in the Fieldcraft, we refer to this not as your towel or your poncho or your standard size Moreygami. We call this a hood, right? The reason, because the main use of this sewn hoop of cloth is wrapping this, just hanging the hoop around my neck. I turn it over, so I've made a figure 8. I pop it up over my head again, around my neck, and then I just pull this part up and I wear it as a hood. Hopefully that, let me move that microphone. Right, so this is the hood. This, like for winter camp, this is phenomenally warm. I've got coverage all the way in the back, all the way around my neck. I've got my head covered with the layer of wool, and it's easy to vent that out if I need to cool off for a minute or pull it up, or I could even double up more layers and wear this as a hood. I take it down, I'm warm. If I need to use it for a bag or a towel, or I don't need the hood any longer, I can just slip that off to the side and just wear it as this sash part again. You'll see there are lots of other uses for this. Maybe I don't want it hanging off my shoulder, but I don't want to set it down. I can hold this out, reach down about halfway on the inside and give it a little pinch of cloth on both sides, and then shake it down so it folds in half. Right. Then I can bring that half part up and wear it sort of tucked in here. So now I have my hood with me, wrapped around my waist. It's not in the way. It's not super fashionable. What do you call these? Micro mini skirts? It's a micro mini kilt. I've just invented that. I wouldn't wear this as I wear my traditional great kilt, because this is not going to work. But it keeps it out of the way. It's almost a loincloth. I've got my hood here. I can even configure this in ways where I can have little pockets or tuck gear down in here. It's a great piece of kit to have. You can make one of your own. This one's an old piece of kilt, but I have them made out of cotton. I've sewn some Turkish towels together by coming along, bringing the short ends together and sewing that into a hoop, right? And now this is a little smaller, but a Turkish towel sewn down along the end makes a great one of these little hoops or hoods, and you can get tons and tons of use out of it. So it's the Uncivilized Hood a version of a Moreygami that has almost infinite uses. If you have one of these or know it by maybe a different name besides a lava or a malong or a sarong, leave some comments below in different ways that you've used it. You can use it as a towel, as a pillow. Leave the comments below some uses you've come up with. Sew yourself a hood. Get out there, use it. It's a great piece of kit to have. I always have this or a Turkish towel with me in my bag as part of my first family of tools, which is clothing or cloth tools. So that's it. Like, share, subscribe, and what else? Notifications, and that's it.